we good? Hello everyone, welcome to the Friday Night Curry Club. Welcome to my kitchen. It's lovely to see you. I'm so pleased to be back. It's been a long time, I know, but in the world that we live in at the moment, the whole lockdown thing, I just thought, let's do something that hopefully will bring a little bit of joy on a Friday night. And what is better than cooking some yummy food? So welcome, thank you everyone for joining me. As always, I will ask you to say hello on YouTube, give me a little wave, tell me where you are tuning in from, tell me which country you're in, tell me if you are cooking along with me tonight or if you're just watching just because you fancy something different to sort of wind down your week with. So tonight we're cooking a tangy chicken chaat. And I'll talk you through a little bit about that once we've said hello to everyone. So we're going to give you a few minutes and give everybody a few minutes to sort of join us, because I know it takes a little bit of time for sometimes for you to log on. We did have lots of people waiting today, which was lovely. So have we got lots of people joining us today?
We've got Damien is here.
Hi Damien, how you doing?
Wendy has said hello.
Hello Wendy, lovely to have you join me. Where from?
They haven't said.
Haven't said. Please say where you're tuning in from, because we always like to do a little bit of a competition to see how far and wide people are joining us from, because we have had people from all corners of the world in the past, so it's always lovely to have you join. Who else have we got?
Andrew and Kim Sherman from
Hi
Sunday
Andrew, I know you're not cooking. I don't know what you're having for dinner tonight. You didn't tell me that bit, but you said you weren't cooking. It's probably pizza, because I know that you've got a new pizza oven. But you said that you're going to be cooking this later on, maybe tomorrow, with some fresh pita bread. So I'll be looking forward to seeing those pictures. Welcome, thank you for joining.
Got Lee from Nassau in the Bahamas.
Oh my goodness, hello Lee from the Bahamas, welcome. I don't know if you're cooking with us tonight or if you're just watching, but whatever you're doing, welcome. You're very, very welcome to join us.
Got loads of people. Patrick from Nova Scotia.
Patrick from Nova Scotia, wow, amazing. It must be really cold where you are. It's freezing here, but it must be really cold where you are.
Helen in Ontario. Eric in snowy Madrid.
Snowy Madrid, wow. Hi Eric, how you doing? And who was that, did you say, Naya? Someone from
Helen.
Helen.
From
Hello
Ontario.
Helen, welcome. Lovely to have you join.
Stacey from Chicago.
Hi Stacey in Chicago. Is it cold in Chicago? I bet it's freezing, isn't it?
Andrew said they're doing southern fried chicken tonight.
Southern fried chicken. Well, that's fine. That sounds pretty good to me. We'll enjoy that.
Pamela in California.
Hi Pamela in California. Welcome. Lovely to have you join. It's brilliant to see so many people from all across the globe. Have we got any people from the UK?
Yeah, we've got Trixie in Birmingham.
Hi
Terry,
Trixie in Birmingham, my home area.
Terry in Southampton.
Hi Terry, Southampton, love Southampton, great place to be.
We've got Keely, I don't know, in West Yorkshire.
Up in Yorkshire. Keely, is it? If we've said that wrong, apologies, but welcome. Lovely to have you join as well.
Leslie in Manchester is not cooking but got the ingredients. I'll cook another time.
Oh, hi Leslie. Well, if you've got the ingredients, that's fine. You can just pick up some hints and tips and then do it when you're ready.
We've got John is joining from Glasgow for the first time.
Yay! Hi John from Glasgow. I know you love your curries up there, so this is going to be amazing. Welcome.
Got Kevin in Arkansas.
Gosh, Kevin, all the way in Arkansas. Welcome. Lovely to have you join. Are we getting more people? So as you join, please do say hello. Please do give us a little wave. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you're cooking or if you're just joining me. Okay, so we're going to get on to the cooking. We're making a chicken chaat. So chaat, I suppose the easiest way to describe what a chaat is, it's like an Indian salad, but it's a little bit more than just a salad, because it's all about all of those different flavours that make your mouth zing. So it's about sweetness, it's about savoury, it's about saltiness, it's about spicy, it's about chilli, it's about bringing all of those flavours to life. So Usually a chaat is a snack dish, and you can make chaat with anything, and you do it in slightly different ways. This is a chicken chaat, so I'm using chicken for this. But as I said in the description when I put it out there, you can make this with anything you like. So you could use tofu, you could use paneer, you could use mushrooms and peppers, you could use prawns, you could use anything, but you would have to slightly change the way that you're cooking the dish. It's a really good dish to do with leftovers, so if you've got leftover chicken or leftover turkey and all of that stuff, it's a really good one to do for that. But I'm going to take you through the whole process. It's a really quick and easy one to do, and there are lots and lots and lots and lots of different ways to make chaat. So this is my very, very quick and easy version. You can make it a little bit more complicated if you want to, and you can make a proper masala that you put the chicken into, but mine's much more around the ingredients that are quite simple and easy to put together. So if I talk you through what we're going to use, first of all, I've got my chicken, which is here. So I've got 5 fillets that are off the bone. You can use breast meat, you could use fillets that are on the bone if you want to, whatever you've got really. Then I have got my masala dabba, which is my spice tin. We're not using an awful lot from this today. I'll be using some chili powder, which is the Kashmiri chili powder. It's not that hot, but it's lovely in terms of colour. And I am going to deviate slightly from the recipe, but you can just cook along with me and just add some of those tweaks in. I am going to use a little bit of cumin, and I'll probably use some garam masala as well. And then I've got my onion. I've got some lovely, lovely, lovely red chillies, which is more about the garnish rather than what I'm cooking with. I've got some garlic. I've got some green chillies as well, and I'm also going to add a little bit of ginger to this. It's not in the recipe, but I'm feeling a little bit, you know, it's cold, we need a little bit of warmth, so I'm going to add a little bit of ginger as well. And then I've got this stuff. Now, if you haven't used tamarind before, can you see that? I know it's probably not the best bowl to have put it in. So this is tamarind. Tamarind is an ingredient, and some of you will know, and I apologise if you already know, but tamarind is a fruit that grows in India. It grows on trees, and it grows in pods, and it hangs down from the tree. And within these pods, if you open them up, you get this pulp almost, and there's lots of little seeds in there. But this pulp is really, really tangy. It's very similar to lemon, but it's not as sharp as lemon. It's much more fruity. And you can get tamarind in lots and lots of different forms. And one of the things that people always ask me is, well, you know, I don't really know which form to buy it in. So what I tend to do is you can buy it in either dried blocks or wet blocks. And they're just about this big, and you can get them from most Indian grocery stores. That's my preferred way of buying it. And then what I do is I then add hot water to it to just sort of break down the fibres in there, and that water then becomes the tamarind water that I would use in my dishes. It can be quite, as I said, it's got stones in it, but it's also quite fibrous, so you do need to sieve it. The other way that you can buy tamarind is as a paste. You can buy it in jars as a paste, which is fine, absolutely brilliant. They've done all the hard work for you, so you can just use it as a paste. The other form that you can get it in is a concentrate, and that is usually in these plastic jars. And when you open it up, it's really syrupy, it's really thick. It's almost like tar, it's black. I don't like to use that concentrate because I just think it just makes all your dishes really, really dark in colour. So my preference would be to buy it like this and rehydrate it yourself, or buy a paste. But if you've got the concentrate, that's fine. You know, it doesn't matter. Use what you've got, but just for future reference. So this is the tamarind, which we're going to be making the tamarind water from. I've also got this stuff here. This is amchoor, if you can see that. So amchoor is another tangy, it's not really a spice. What it is mangoes, green mangoes that have been dried. It's the skin of the green mango that's been dried, and then it's blitzed into a powder, and that's what you get. So the flavour, or the flavour that it imparts, is this really nice tangy, zingy flavour. If you haven't got amchoor, it's fine, you can miss it out. Something else that you can use instead of both of these, if you can't get hold of them, because I know things are a little bit more difficult to get hold of, is just some lemon juice, and you can mix in a little bit of brown sugar with that, and that will give you the tangy tartness, but it'll also give you that stickiness that we're hoping this dish will end up being. Is that okay? Is everybody still with me? Yeah, any comments so far? Anything that we need to go through? If at any point as we're going through the session you've got any questions, or if you want me to slow down, or if you want me to speed up, whatever it is, please just tap away on the keyboard, let me know, and ask away, because this is your opportunity to ask lots of questions, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some.
Andrew said Kim's sad that we're not cooking.
See, I told you, Andrew, you should learn by now, if you're not cooking, you get all depressed. So next time, cook along with me. I will say actually that I am going to do these every week for the next few weeks, depending on how things go. So I am going to be here on a Friday night with you, and we'll be doing some lovely cooking. Okay, so first things first, this is going to sound a little bit weird, I guess, because it's not normally the way that you cook chicken. But what I'm going to do is, I've got a pan here, I've got some water in there, and I'm going to cook my chicken by putting it into the water. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I want my chicken to, I want to be able to shred it. So if you had more time, you could actually do this in the oven and let your chicken just cook away, and then once it's done you can shred it. But this is a really nice way of keeping it really moist. So just some water, and into that I'm going to add my garlic as well. So I'm just going to put that in whole, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. So just a pinch of salt just to get that going. Now what I would normally do, just to save a little bit of time, is I would also put my tamarind into here, and as it's cooking and boiling, all of that lovely tangy flavour is coming through, and it's actually going into that stock. But just to show you for today, I'm just going to put some hot water into that tamarind, and I'll show you what we do with that in a second. But so get your chicken in, get them salt in, get the garlic in, and get that cooking. That's going to take probably about 10 minutes, if that. It'll just get really nice and soft, and then we'll shred all of that up. And I'm also going to use the garlic that's in here, and I'm going to add that into the masala as well, so that you get that lovely flavour. We don't waste anything. So I'm just going to switch these two pans over. I'm going to pop that one on here. So whilst the chicken is doing its thing, I'm going to get my other bits and pieces ready. So in here, I've just added some hot water into my tamarind, and with a fork, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a squidge, which is a technical term to mash things up. Now, when you are doing this, you don't need loads and loads of water. You just need a little bit, just enough to cover it. And when, I can remember doing this as a kid, so we would make chutney and all kinds of things with this tamarind, and you would sort of put it through its paces 3 or 4 times. So we'd do it once, we'd sieve it, we'd put it back in the bowl, put some more water in and do it again, because you get a lot of flavour from tamarind. So I'm just going to squidge that for a little bit, and then just pop it to one side for it to do its thing. Now, if you've got just a paste, obviously you don't need to do this bit, you don't need to make tamarind water, you can just use the paste as it is. So we'll just
Debbie asked, was the water already boiling when you put the chicken in?
My water wasn't boiling when I put the chicken in, it was just in the pan, so I've literally letting them cook together. It's almost too quick if you put it into a boiling pan, because I want that garlic to soften as well, so I'm going to be using that. So sorry, no, it's not boiling. It was just in the pan to save me having to turn around and get some. Right, okay, so I don't know if you can have a look in there. So you can see the colour is starting to come through. We're just going to let that sit for a minute while it does its thing. Now, one thing I will say about tamarind, and I get asked this a lot, people always say to me, how much tamarind do I need to use? It can be quite difficult, because different batches of tamarind will have different levels of tartness. So the only way that you can tell is you just need to break a little bit off and taste it. And quite often the paste is not as tangy, so you might need to use a little bit more paste than you would of the dried blocks. The only way you'll know how sharp it is by tasting it, and that you can judge how much you put in. Yes.
Andrew's asked, can you prepare a lot of tamarind water in advance and freeze it for future use?
That's a really good question. Yeah, you can do. There's no reason why you can't. You could just freeze it in little ice cubes and just pop them in and just pop them out as and when you need them. Yeah, no reason why you can't do that.
And then someone's asked, where did you get chilies that big from and how hot are they?
These chilies, they're just from the supermarket. I used one yesterday and they're not too hot. What I find is the bigger your chili is, the more fleshy it is, and therefore it's not as hot. So these I'm really going to use for garnish. These are the ones that are a little bit hotter. So the small thin chilies are the ones that I tend to use for cooking, but these ones they just look pretty, so I'm going to use those for the garnish. Okay, so I've got my pan on. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in there. I'm keeping an eye on my chicken as well. Now the chicken will change colour. It'll turn white as it starts to cook through. So do make sure that it's sort of properly submerged. And as I said, I know it's a bit weird. It's not the usual way that you would probably cook chicken, but it does make it really, really tender and moist. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to blitz up my onion and I'm going to do that in my little chopper that I've got here because it's the easiest way to do it, and it also stops you from crying. For those of you who haven't used these before, they are brilliant, they're easy. I've used them quite a lot, and I know you guys who join me regularly have seen that I love these little choppers because look at that, a few little pulls, look how lovely and fine it's come out. If you are interested in these, I put a post up just today as to where you can get them from, and you can get them with a lovely discount. So they are available through the retailer here, and the link's on my social pages for a lovely 22 quid. So that's going to go into my pan. And what I want to get a little bit of colour to my onions, but before I mix that in, what I should have done, I'm just going to put a little bit of cumin in there because I just want a bit of warmth. So I'm just grinding probably about half a teaspoon of cumin in there, and now I'm going to give that a mix. You could use cumin seeds as well, that would add a lovely flavour.
Andrew's asked, is that the 500ml type?
The size,
I would assume so, yes.
yeah, it is.
Or 650.
It's the 500, this one, which is perfect for my needs. There we go. If you are interested in these, as I said, the link is on the website, and there's that lovely discount, which is always good. Right, so I'm going to turn that up. I want to get a little bit of colour onto my onions because all of this is going to be really nice and sticky and gooey and delicious. So whilst that's doing that, I'm just going to prep all of my other bits. So I'm going to put 1 or 2 chilies. I'll probably go 2 because I want this to have a bit of a kick to it. So I'm going to use 2 of my green chilies, just get those chopped up and ready to go in. I am going to go over these a couple of times so that they're nice and fine and they sort of blend in to the sauce rather than being big and chunky. So is everybody still with me who's cooking? Are we all on the same page? I'll show you the inside of the pan as well in a minute. Right, if you have a look at the chicken, that's what it looks like at the moment. Can you see? So it's starting to change colour and it's just simmering away. Not too high, but not too low either. Right, so I'm going to carry on with my chillies. Has anybody got any questions whilst I'm chopping away, or are you all busy chopping with me?
Dominique says, hello, sorry for my late arrival. She's
Hi
here.
Dominique, how are you doing? Lovely to have you join as always. Is it your husband's birthday today? I can't remember. I'm sure somebody said there was a birthday, so they weren't cooking tonight. Okay, so my chilli's all ready to go. That's all chopped up beautifully. Now remember, I always say, if ever you are cooking your onions and they catch on the bottom of the pan, or you are worried because they're catching on the bottom of the pan, what do you need to do? Who can remember?
Okay, a couple of questions.
You have some questions? Yep.
First of all, can you quickly say again what you put in your stock?
So in the with the chicken, so all I've got in there is chicken, a little bit of salt, and I put in 3 cloves of garlic, so whole cloves just gone in there, just all simmering away together. One thing that I said was, if you were doing this at home in normal time, what you could do is also put your little bit of tamarind in to that pan and let that boil away and simmer away whilst it's cooking, because that will infuse flavours into the chicken as it's cooking. But I haven't done that, just so that I could show you what the tamarind looks like once you sort of cook it. So that's all that's gone in there.
And then Patrick's asked, is there any trick to save a dish that turned out too hot?
Are there any tricks to save a dish that are too hot?
And it was Debbie's husband, Debbie's partner.
Oh, it's Debbie's husband. Oh, happy birthday to your husband, Debbie. I knew there was somebody. Sorry for getting you mixed up. So the question was from Patrick. Is there anything that you can do to save a dish when it's too hot? First thing is, always add less than you think, okay, than you think that you want, because you can always add more. So that's hopefully as a preventative measure. If for whatever reason it just comes out and it's too spicy for you, there are a number of things that you can do. Number one is obviously you can either mix in some yoghurt, or you can have yoghurt on the side. You could put a cucumber into that yoghurt just to help cool and calm, or you can just mix that in. The other thing that you can do is put coconut milk in, but what I would suggest is when you have a tin of coconut, it separates out into the liquid and then the fat. Just scoop out the fat and mix that into your dish. That will bring sweetness, and it will also bring a little bit of calm. So that's another thing that you could do. The other thing you can do is increase the volume, so you can add more ingredients to it. So if you were doing a chicken curry and it's just so hot, you could then add some vegetables to it to just sort of bulk it out and hopefully spread the amount of chilli that you've got in there. Some people will swear by putting potatoes in, and that will draw out some of the heat, and then they take those potatoes out. So there are lots of different options. In fact, I think I've done a blog on this, but I can't remember what it's called. So I'll have a think about that.
And then someone's just said, someone said too hot. Is that a thing? Someone's fallen behind. Can you give a quick
Yeah,
recap?
of course. So if you've fallen behind, all we've done so far is we have put our chicken into a pan, and we put it into a pan of cold water with a little bit of salt and 3 cloves of garlic, and we're just simmering that away so that the chicken cooks through. It stays nice and soft, and then we are going to take that out and we'll shred that in a little while. In this pan, all I've done is put some oil, about a tablespoon of oil, and I added a little bit of cumin seeds into there, and then I blitzed up an onion and I popped that in there. And the reason that I've done that is that I do want to get a little bit of colour to my onions, because this dish hopefully will be really lovely and gooey and sticky and delicious. So I do want to get the right colour there. I don't want it to look too pale. So a little bit of colour on your onions is welcome in this dish. So that's all we've done. Does that help? Are you up to speed? The other thing that I've done is, obviously I've got 2 chillies. I'm using 2 chillies. I've chopped up two chillies, which are going to go into the pan in a minute as well. So I just mix that up. Now, I did say I am deviating slightly from the recipe that I shared with you, only because I wanted to add a little bit of ginger, just because it's cold. I've been so cold today that I just need a little bit of warming up. So I'm just going to chop up some ginger. And you don't have to do this if you haven't got it. I know that I haven't put it in the recipe, but this is my dinner for tonight. So I'm going to add a little bit of ginger julienne into it, because I want to be warm and I'm not warm at the moment. Okay.
Andrew said, so no Prosecco tonight then?
No Prosecco tonight. No, I'm on dry January. I've got my glass of water. I just think it's a good thing to do, isn't it? Not have a drink for a while. So yeah, no Prosecco for me. Not for a few days anyway. Who else is doing dry January then? Is it a thing? Is it something that people are buying into? Or is it just, I just think it's a good idea really to not have a little bit of alcohol. Your body feels like it's detoxing and you feel good. So, yeah.
See, this person said, Andrew said that's gin. Don't understand.
It's not gin. I'm going to add a little bit of water.
I misread what this person said. This person said, I'm in Bath with a beer got 4 breasts of chicken in the fridge. I'm cooking this for my NHS partner soon. Love your videos. I misread that as I'm in the bath with a beer watching.
If you are in the bath with a beer, that's fine too. Oh great, good. So you're just watching what we're doing and then you're going to cook it later. I'm really pleased to hear that. Okay, so my onions were catching a little bit. All I did was put a little sprinkling of water in there, and it just lifts everything off the bottom of the pan, and it just helps to bring it all together. Now I've got that colour on there now. Can you see? Can you see the colour? Yep. So it's got a nice sort of goldeny brown colour on there. And I think my chicken is done as well. So first thing, before I take my chicken off, I'm just going to add my chilli and my ginger in. And that's if you're using ginger. If you're not, obviously you don't have to put it in. I'm just popping that in. And I'm going to give this a mix.
Joni said, we're loving the red utensils.
Ah, I love, you know me, I like a bit of colour, so if I have, you know, it's either on me or I'm using it, but yeah, I quite like these as well.
A spread of people, some people going, nope, no way, not doing, definitely not, for dry January.
What, dry January? So we have a real mixture, do we?
Andy's just said no chance.
No chance.
Debbie said she did dry November.
Oh, well done, Debbie. At least you did a dry something, hey?
And then a link to the chopper. Is it on your website?
So the chopper is, if you go to it's not on the website, if you go to Instagram, what you need to do is, if you go to, so it's Kernricon, these guys, if you go to their website, can you zoom into that? And it's just kernricon.co.uk. If you go to their website, pull up the chopper, it's already on offer, and then if you then put in at your checkout Harry Ghotra 20, it then gives you a further 20% discount as well, so do have a look. What I will do is I will put a link. Can we put a link
to the Kernricon?
Yeah, so I'll just add a link on now And then I'll also add the discount code so you know what it is in the comments. So we'll do that now so you've got all the information. Okay, so my chilli and my ginger is in. Now that is smelling delicious. Now with a lot of people who make chaat or this kind of dish, they'll do it slightly differently from now. So I'll tell you the different methods that you can do. So my chicken is done and it's looking a little bit pale and a little bit sorry for itself, but I just want to take that out and I'm going to pop it onto a plate because I want that to cool down.
Johnny said, the first 17 years of my life was dry, never doing that again.
How old are you? 17? Okay, so I'm just going to pop those bits on there. Now, what you want to do is keep that stock. Don't accidentally pour it down the sink or throw it away. Now, we've got the cloves of garlic, which I'm also going to take out because we want to use those. And any little bits of chicken are going to come out as well. So keep hold of that for the minute. Keep an eye on your onions. Just make sure that's turned down quite low. So that is just going to cool just for a minute. Whilst that's doing that, I'm going to get these cloves of garlic. Now sometimes, actually, they are quite soft. So I'm just going to, you could chop them up, but actually I don't think I need to because they will just mince and mash up when they're in there. So the garlic has gone in and I'm just going to, with the back of my spoon, just squash that up so that you get that lovely garlicky flavour in here as well.
Dominique's gone, oh, is my chopper redundant then?
Dominique, I dropped your chopper and the lid broke. And I was very, very sad for a long time. But I have a replacement now, but it's all because of you. It's all because of you, Dominique. So I'm very, very grateful. I'll always be grateful that you introduced me to such a wonderful gadget. Okay, so I'm just using the back of my spoon, can you see, just to mash up that garlic. There we go. Now what you could do, and what a lot of restaurants will do, is they will continue to make a basic masala with this. So they will add tomatoes or they'll add tomato puree and they'll add turmeric and all of that kind of thing. And when you go to a restaurant and you ask for a chicken chaat, that's practically what you get. For me, I like to keep my dishes tasting a little bit different. So I don't tend to do that. I've got the key flavours in here, but what I want the key bit of this dish for me is the tamarind. So if you come back to have a look at the tamarind, it's sort of got really thick now, and I hope yours has too, but if you press it and squidge it, all of that lovely flavour has come out. Now I would urge you just for your own sake, just have a little taste of it, because that's the only way you're going to know what tamarind tastes like. It's like sour sweets, it's like Haribo's, but without the sugar. So it's really yummy. I love that flavour. So who's going to have a taste? Have you had a taste? Let me know what you think if you've had a little taste of it. Okay, I'm continuing to just mince that up. Right, so in here, the other bits, I'm just going to clean my spoon off. So what we're going to do in here now is we're going to add a little bit of stock and we're going to add our tamarind into there, and we're going to let that reduce while we shred the chicken. So this final little mince, and then the tamarind goes in. I'm going to turn the temperature down a little bit, and do you know what, I'm just going to squeeze that through. And I can see in my tamarind, I just wipe that on the edge just so that I can show you. Don't want to lose any of it. I can see that there's loads more that I can get out of there. Can you see? So I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to add a little bit more hot water. I'm going to do it again, just in case I need any more. I told you I don't like to waste anything. There we go. So I'm just going to let that sit for another minute or two. Okay, so we'll give this a mix, and then also I'm just going to sieve a little bit of my stock in and give that a stir. And obviously I've cooled that pan right down, so I'm going to just turn the temperature up, and now I'm going to add my chili powder to it as well. So I'm going to put in only half a teaspoon of chili powder. I'm using Kashmiri chili powder, say half, maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt in. Remember, we've also seasoned the chicken, so you don't want it to be too salty. Now, if you prefer your chaat to have a little bit of sweetness as well, you can also add a little bit of brown sugar, because that will sort of balance the tartiness of your tamarind. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but I'm just going to put a little bit in, not too much, just to help with that stickiness. Now, whilst that is cooking down, I'm going to use the back of my spoon still. I'm going to come back to my chicken. Okay. Now what we want to do is we just want to shred it. This is why I said it's probably it's a really good one to use leftovers. Leftover roast chicken is great for this. So just with 2 forks, just pull your chicken apart. We're going to serve this in some rotis, almost like a wrap, but you could have it with rice, you could just have it with some salad on the side, whatever you fancy really.
Andrew's just said jaggery.
Yep, you can use jaggery, absolutely. Why not? If you've got some, this is the perfect opportunity to use it.
Peter said, can we use lemon juice instead of the tamarind water?
So yes, this is something that I mentioned earlier. If you haven't got tamarind or you can't get hold of it, just use some lemon juice, and I would suggest probably just 1 small lemon, but I would also mix in some brown sugar, because lemon juice is a little bit harsher than tamarind in that it's a bit sharper and it could be a little bit overpowering. So just be a little bit wary of that, but yeah, you can. There we go. How's that looking? Oh, yum. I'm going to add a little bit more stock. Actually, I don't think I need to sieve that. It's looking good. So the aim is to have that fairly liquidy, because once the chicken goes in, it's going to absorb that flavour. There we go. How's everyone doing? Are you all with me still?
Everyone's gone very quiet.
Everyone's gone quiet. Yeah. Is that because you're using 2 hands to shred your chicken? There we go. Yum. Smells delish. Okay. Did you manage to add that code?
Yeah, I put it on.
Cool. Just so you know, that code, that 20% off, is on all of their products. Not just the chopper. So if you are looking for some kitchen equipment, I would suggest you have a look at what they've got. Okay, so that's what my masala or sauce is looking like. Can you see?
Have you discarded pink chicken?
No, we haven't discarded pink chicken because we're still going to cook it. This is going back into the pan, so any pink chicken that you might have will cook. So, yep, you don't need to do that. So this is what my chicken's looking like, lovely and shredded. That's going to go back into here. Well, it's not going to go back in, it's going to go in. And then we're going to mix that through. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Now, depending on the colour of your tamarind, some tamarind is really dark, some tamarind is a little bit more brown. Your dish will be either a dark brown or a lighter brown, but don't worry too much. I'm going to add this last bit of stock because I don't know why I'm sieving that. That's just chicken, and that's the bits we want. So I'm going to add that back in. And I'm just going to add this last bit of tamarind.
Someone's asked, can I use lime pickle instead of tamarind?
You could use lime pickle, it's going to give you the same zing, I guess. You could use mango chutney in this. You could use anything that's going to give you a little bit of a zing will work. So be creative. I mean, obviously different things are going to give you slightly different flavours.
Elizabeth said, can I put in lemon confit, salted lemons?
You could. You just sometimes, again, you need to just be aware. Actually, they're not as harsh as. So yeah, that could work. You might need to add a bit of sweetness though. But yeah, again, whatever you've got available. Okay, so this is looking yum. Now, all that liquid has gone in there. I want this to reduce and thicken and get really unctuous. So whilst that's doing that, I am going to add in my amchoor. So probably about a teaspoon and a bit. Depends how much you like. So I'm just going to pop that in, and then I'm going to let this simmer while we get on and make some rotis to go with it. Now this looks quite wet. I don't want it to be wet, so I'm going to move that over and let that simmer away. That's not where I want to be with it, but it smells good, it looks good. We just need to let it cook. So this is why you don't need to worry about anything that isn't cooked, because it's going to be get cooked now. Okay, everybody's still with me. Have a little clear down whilst you ask away any questions. I'm going to get a little chopping board out. Any more questions? Nope, we all good?
What is the make of the chopper?
Kern Rikon. So it's Kuhnrikon. Have you just put it in the?
Yeah, I just put.
We've put it in the comments. So if you have a look in the comments, all the details are in the comments there. It'll be from obviously my name. Kern Rikon is the name of the brand, and the discount code is Ghotra 20. Okay, so whilst that's doing that, we're going to get the roti bit ready. So a roti obviously is an Indian flatbread. I've got some flour here. This is atta flour, and this is what we call jakki atta. So it's a little bit more dry. It's more, it's got less gluten in it, so requires a little bit more care. All you do is flour, water, one hand in, and you bring that together as a dough. That's as complicated as it gets. If you haven't made rotis before, I know a lot of you have, because we've done this before. The atta flour is different to normal plain flour, because it's the whole of the wheat germ that's ground up in atta, making it slightly healthier flour. And if you haven't tried rotis, what are you waiting for? They're the best thing in the world.
Terry's asked, can you help with the washing up, please?
Me? You want me to come around and do your washing up? Always. Always. I'll always help. It's the best part, isn't it? Clearing up afterwards. So all I'm doing is putting a little bit of water in at a time and just squeezing all of that flour together to make a nice dough. I think I need to get a little bit more flour, a little bit more water. Keep an eye on your chicken as well. Now as it starts to come together, you then just need to start kneading it. This was probably my worst job as a child. I say as a child, as a kid, teenager, whatever. We used to have to do this. Oh my God, every day. I hated it. It was just the bane of my life, making the atta for the rotis. But I wouldn't be without my rotis. Okay, so it all starts to come together. It still feels a little bit dry, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water at a time.
Can you just hold the bowl?
Yep.
So we can look inside it.
It's not done yet. Okay. So I'm just bringing that together. I'm just going to give my chicken a little stir. It's looking good. So is everybody with me? Are we all cooking our chicken slowly?
Can you show the chicken?
I will show the chicken in a second. Let me just wash my hand once I've done this, and I will show you what the chicken looks like. Okay, a little bit more water. Okay, so there's my atta. Needs a little bit more work, but ideally what you want to do whenever you make your atta or your roti flour is you want to let it sit for a good sort of minimum 10 minutes, ideally a little bit longer, but we don't have that luxury, so we're just going to have to use it as we come. Right, I'll show you the chicken. Pop that to one side. So it's still looking a bit wet, but it's getting there. It's drying out a little bit, and that's exactly what we want. So we want that lovely moisture, but we want it to dry out. Everyone happy? There we go. So that's just simmering away whilst I do the other bits. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands. Oh, I need to apologise as well. I think I confused a few of you when I put the recipe up. I titled it chicken chaat, and most of you thought that was an ingredient and went to the shops looking for chicken chaat, which I apologise. I should have been a little bit more clear, but I thought everybody knew the name of the dish that we were cooking was chicken chaat and not, it wasn't an ingredient.
Does the dough need to be elastic?
Ideally, yeah, it does need to be a little bit elastic, but it will get there. I mean, ideally, I would do that for a little bit longer, but we can work with it. It's fine. Okay. So, for those of you who have done this before, you know what my trusted tawa is all about. So, this is an Indian griddle pan. This is what I make my rotis and my naans and everything on. If you don't have one of those, just use a frying pan. You just need to be a little bit careful when you're using the frying pan. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my other bits ready for the chicken. So I'm going to just get my chilli ready for the garnish. And you can do it in all kinds of different ways. You could just do some nice lengths of chilli, which look nice, or you could do it the other way. I'm going to do some nice lengths that I can just pop on top. So that should be enough. And then I've got some coriander, which I'm just going to dice up, chop up nice and fine. And we'll just pop this to one side, and when we need it, it's all ready to go. It's all about preparation and being organised. There we go. So there's our coriander, our chilli, and I'm also going to add a little spring onion, I think, just because you could put some red onion on there. I've shown you how to do Punjabi piyaz before, which are a lovely garnish. So it's a red onion onion salad, really, I guess. But I'm going to add some spring onions to this, just because that's what I had in the fridge today. So just slice that up nice and fine.
Someone's asked, where can I get a chopping board from like yours? I'm not sure which one they mean.
Do you mean my wooden chopping board?
Very different answers depending on...
Well, the little plastic one comes from IKEA. My huge big wooden chopping board was handmade for me, and comes from a plank of wood in a forest somewhere. I don't know, I can't even remember where, but this was handmade, which was a lovely birthday gift from my husband. So I don't know whether he was telling me to get in the kitchen and cook, or whether it was just some, yeah, so that's a bespoke piece actually, but you can get those made quite easily. Okay, so you see how it's starting to dry out now, and it's starting to absorb all those yummy flavours. Okay, whilst that's doing that, we're going to get on and make our roti. So I'm going to pop my garnish over there, and we're just going to make a little bit of space so that we are just going to move this out the way. Okay, so I've got my atta and rolling pin, and I've got some dry flour as well. So I'm just going to make some rotis. Now we've done this before, so I don't know if I need to go into detail. So all you want to do is make a nice ball. You need to press quite hard, especially with this because it hasn't had time to rest. Now, the rounder your roti, the more professional you are. So mine's probably not going to be very round at all. Okay. And then we just flatten it out. And it's the same as pancakes. The first one will never come up as you want it to. But that's also because the flour hasn't had much, the dough hasn't had much sitting time. So I'm just going to roll that out. And what you do is you put slightly more weight on one side compared to the other side. And ideally what will happen is your roti will start to rotate round, making it really thin and making it even thickness all the way through. So you need to make sure your pan is already on and getting warm, because if it's too cold, it won't cook through properly. And if it's too hot, it'll cook through too quickly. So there's a fine balance. Okay, do we have any more questions whilst we're doing this bit?
Dominique said, spring onions are nowhere to be found in our part of France at any time of the year. Grr. Not very happy.
Oh dear. No spring onions, hey Dominique? Right. Goes onto the pan, and what will happen is it just starts to just sear the bottom, and it'll change colour. And then as it starts to change colour, you just turn it over. The aim is really, you only really need to turn it over once, and then you take it off, and then it blows up. But you can see that it starts to change colour. Actually, what I will say is I've just put out a new ebook all about Indian breads, and you can find that on the app, and you can find that on my website. And it's just got a whole array of different Indian breads, because it's not just naan breads and rotis. There's so much more. So if you want to have a look, I think it's $4.99 or something, but it's an ebook. You literally get it straight away, and it's got, I think it's over 30 recipes in there. all different sorts of, all different.
It's in the shop below as well.
Oh, it's in the shop below apparently. So if you have a look on the YouTube bit there, it's in the shop below. But it's all about Indian breads and different kinds of Indian breads, because people seem to think all we do is naan and roti, and there's so much more. Okay, so you see how it starts to puff up directly onto the flame, and then it puffs up beautifully. See that? That's all you want to do, and then that just is your roti there. Can you see? Nice and fluffy and airy and light. So I'll do another one because the chicken is almost done. Who is making rotis? Anybody making rotis?
Don't know, but Andrew Sherman is just keep saying, I love my rotis, I love my rotis, I love them so much.
We love rotis. They are the best thing in the world. And there are lots of different ways to make rotis. Some people put oil in them, some people put salt in them. We keep them fairly simple. Flour, water, and that's it. So forwards, backwards, rotate that roti round. Can you do the zoom in? So that roti rotates round. So it's lovely and thin. Whoops, it's jumping. And the reason we do this patty cake thing is to get rid of any of the excess flour, so it doesn't burn when you put it on the tawa or your griddle. And then that goes on. And then my chicken is looking delish. What I am going to do is just have a little taste. Very important part of cooking is tasting.
Joni and Lawrence would like to know if your lovely daughter has learnt to cook from you, Harry.
My lovely daughter has learnt to cook from me. She can't make rotis to save her life though, but my son, he can make rotis.
Outing me on the internet in front of everyone.
She needs to learn. Okay, so I've got a real tang from my chicken, which is lovely. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. It needs a little bit more of seasoning, so do have a little taste and just adjust if it needs it. Turn that over, and then into this, just to finish it off, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to add some, actually before I do that, I'm just going to do my roti and then I'll finish this off. There we go. I want it to blow up and be nice and light and fluffy and soft and delicious. Perfect. So that goes in there. And then just to finish off your chicken.
Is there a certain brand of atta that is best, or could you not say?
I don't know if there's best. Lots of people have their preferences when it comes to atta. Elephant atta is obviously the most common. I've done lots of work with them in the past. Canada Gold, I really like Canada Gold atta. And who's the other one? I'm sure there's lots of opinions and people. So if you've got a specific atta that you like, please do share it with the community, because I think you get used to using a certain type of atta that you enjoy. Okay, so into my chicken then. It's already got a spice to it, so that's lovely. I'm going to add my garam masala, and that's going to give it a little bit of depth, and it's going to give it a lovely warmth as well. But it's also going to add a slight sweetness. So the garam masala goes in, and then I'm going to also add my coriander. As soon as that garam masala goes in, the aromatics are just incredible. So that's what it looks like at the moment. I'm going to give that all a mix through. You pass me that bowl, please. And then we're going to get this all dished up so that you can have a look. Now, once you've tasted it, if it's too tangy for you, you can add a little bit of sweetness. Again, it depends on your tamarind or lemon juice or whatever it is that you've used. You can add a little bit of sugar to add a little bit of that sweetness back. But I quite like the tang. I think it's really lovely. And I can really taste the ginger in mine, but that's exactly what I wanted.
Do you make your own garam masala?
I do make my own garam masala. I get asked this all the time. So if you go to the website and have a look at a blog called The Wonder Spice, it shows you how I make my garam masala and exactly the quantities of the spices that I put in there. So to finish that off, I'm just going to top it with some, move this out of the way, some coriander. I'm going to top it with a few strands of my red chilli, which is yum, and then just a little bit of spring onion, and there you have your roti and your tangy chicken chaat, all done in, I'd say, really less than half an hour. But that's a really lovely way of doing it. And what you can do, and this is good for kids as well, just pop it into a roti like this and add your few more bits of spring onion, a little bit more, a little bit of the chilli, and then you just make these lovely, lovely little wraps that you can enjoy with the family. So there you go. There is my tangy chicken chaat, cooked for you on our lovely very first Friday night curry club for the 3rd lockdown. If you've got any questions, as always, please do post your questions. I will come back to them and I will answer them. If you've got any thoughts or anything else that you want to share with me, please do pop that into the comments below, and I will have a look and I will come back to you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've had fun. Thank you for joining. I know that a lot of you take time out of your Friday evening to sort of join me, which is lovely. If you have cooked this, please take a picture and share it with me on my app. If you haven't got my app, you just go to your app store, type in Harry Ghotra, and you can download it. It's free, but take a photo and you can share your dish with me, and then I can see what you've come up with, and it's just lovely for me to see what different people have created and cooked and so on. So please do share that with me. And with all my videos, as always, please do give us a thumbs up, and please do spread the word. Tell your friends and families to give us a little follow and a subscribe, and I will hopefully see you next Friday for the next Friday night curry club, and I will be posting in the week to tell you what dish we're going to be cooking. So thank you so much and have a fabulous weekend. Love lots. Bye.